Hi, this is Andrew Aversa with Impact Soundworks, and today I'd like to show you the first ever sampled Hegalong as performed by Diwa de Leon, one of the world's foremost players of the instrument. This is a boat lute from the Philippines, somewhat similar in tone to something like a banjo or a shamisen. It's very versatile with nimble melodic playing, which we've sampled in great detail. Here's a quick demonstration of what it sounds like. Those last few sounds were from our library of snapshots, which take the instrument in a fun new direction. But let's break down how it works. The Hegalong is a 2-string lute, and so one of the strings is represented in this blue playable range down here, which, by the way, if you don't see this in Kontakt, go to the View menu and click on Keyboard. It sounds something like this. It's really deeply sampled and it has beautiful legato, which is a lot of fun to play. Now with the drone string, in the default basic mode, the purple pinkish keys down here control that string. And this can be played independently, so that string does not share the legato limit with the right hand. But the more realistic and idiomatic way the instrument is performed is in natural mode, where each time you play a key with the right hand in this blue range, it will automatically trigger the drone string at the same time. You select what note the drone string plays by just tapping on it in the green range. Which is a lot of fun to play. You can also set the instrument to poly mode, which is not realistic, but it does let you play as many notes as you want in the right hand. The tone shaping controls here let you adjust the brightness with the damping knob. It's a very subtle effect, but useful. The low mid-range with body. The stereo knob is not artificial. It doesn't just collapse the signal to mono. This actually blends between two distinct microphone positions. There is a single mono mic, and then the pair of stereo mics. And if you want to blend between them, you want to set it somewhere in the middle. By the way, I'm doing these pitch bends just using the pitch bend controller. This is not a complex instrument in terms of articulation, so it does not have its own dedicated articulation handler. However, it does have some pre-made noise and loops that you can use. The key switch range at the bottom here are rhythmic taps. You can always hover over to see what it's doing, for example, mute strums. And in the right hand, this red range, tempo synced loops. The two blue notes at the bottom of the drone string range will re-trigger the last played note. And likewise, above the melody range, this will trigger the last played melody note. which is a very efficient way of getting a tremolo style effect. In the shape section here, you can control the sample offset to reduce some of the pick noise. You can also adjust the release noise volume, as well as the taper, which controls how much release volume is affected by note length. Usually keeping the volume at around 12 o'clock is a good idea, but it's up to your taste. You also have the ability to lock to any one of many different scales. I'm going to select major, and if we go to the perform tab, we can see the root that it's using, so C, and it's snapping to major. So even if I play a minor scale, rather than play those minor notes, the E flat and the B flat, it's instead snapping it to a note in the major scale. Likewise with any of these other scales. Speaking of scales, on the Perform page, we have some standard controls here to adjust the effect of velocity on volume. If we turn this all the way down, as well as the dynamic filter all the way down, then you really won't hear much of a difference in tone between the softest notes played and the loudest. It's just whatever was recorded in the samples, but the volume will remain about the same. Whereas if we turn this up, you're going to hear much more of a contrast. Generally, we recommend keeping these turned up. Velocity curve will scale incoming MIDI velocity up and down. So if you have a very sensitive MIDI keyboard and you want to get more dynamic range, then you probably want to curve this down. Whereas if you have a heavy keyboard, then you might do something like this. With microtuning, you can select any one of our preset microtuning settings. For example, this scale here, Ice Face, and we play the following scale. We can really hear its interesting effect. Or how about just intonation? We'll do it in the root of D. You can also set your own microtuning scales just by editing the table here. Finally, on the Mixer and Effects tab, you can make use of any of Kontakt's built-in effects in any order, as many or as few as you want, up to 8, plus 8 sends. And we have some snapshots to get you started, some of which you heard at the beginning, but let's throw together one now. Let's say we want to have a little bit of a spacey sound. We might add the Galloy reverb. How about an EQ? Maybe some extra spacey choral. And perhaps a little replica, which I absolutely love the sound of. And that is our virtual Hegalong in a nutshell. We're so happy to be bringing this beautiful instrument to the world in Kontakt Player form. You don't need any other software to run it, just the free version of Kontakt Player, and is fully NKS compatible as well. If you're purchasing the instrument from our website, impactsoundworks.com, be sure to check your personalized deals area if you have any of our other instruments, particularly our world instruments, because if you have any similar instruments, you can find a personalized cross-grade price there. Also, if you want to learn more about the instrument and hear more of what it can do, be sure to check out Diwa's YouTube channel, Lionmight, as he has a wealth of content. This has been Andrew Aversa with Impact Soundworks, and I will see you in the next one.